Quick Start Guide for the Science of Getting Rich. Chapter 10. The Most Important Thing I Learned. You're about to learn the single biggest, number one, most important thing I learned from Wallace D. Wattles. Warning, this is where, for some, it might get a little spooky. At the end of Chapter 9, I wrote, "Pretty soon, by doing, with faith and purpose, each and everything I could do each day efficiently within the time frame I'd allotted for things, I was earning just as much from my business working a couple hours a day as I had been earning from my business working 8 to 16 hours a day before." Then it happened. I added, "In the next chapter I'll share with you what it was." Well, here we are at the next chapter. So what was it? Simple. Early one morning at 3 a.m. I woke from a sound sleep with an overwhelming urge to get up and turn on my computer and open Microsoft Word. Not having a clue as to why I'd possibly want to do that, I turned over and tried to go back to sleep. However, the harder I tried to go back to sleep, the stronger this overwhelming urge became to get up, turn my computer on, and open Microsoft Word. So after tossing and turning for a while, unable to take it anymore, I got up, turned on my computer, and opened Microsoft Word. Then, almost as if someone were typing through me, out came detailed instructions of exactly what I had to do in my business to increase my income from where it was to where I wanted to be, and, more importantly, exactly how to do it. After they came out, even though with just a few hours of sleep, I should have been exhausted, almost as if I were possessed. I spent the rest of the day energetically implementing those instructions. Long story short, within a matter of days, the net income I was earning from my business increased several-fold from where it was to exactly where I wanted it to be. And it increased in such a way that I'd be able to spend unlimited time with my son. A few weeks later, I went out and bought the very first brand new car I'd ever owned in my entire life. In other words, I got what I wanted. Now, this wasn't the first time in my life something like this had ever happened. However, it's the first time I got it, finally. You see, the single biggest, number one, most important thing I've learned as a result of reading, studying, and applying the writing of Wallace D. Wattles to my life is to stop chasing after things, trying to make or force them to happen, and to instead allow them to come to me of their own accord when the time is right and I'm ready to receive them. In the years prior to my being led to the writing of Wallace D. Wattles, like many, I followed the traditional goal-setting, time management formula taught in many books, audio, and video programs, and seminars that go something like this. 1. Set a goal. 2. Write a plan to obtain your goal. 3. Carry out your plan. However, over the years I noticed a rather interesting phenomenon as I was following this formula. Often, while in the process of writing a very detailed step-by-step plan to obtain a goal, or while I was in the process of carrying out a plan I'd written, something would come totally out of left field from what I thought at the time was nowhere. That literally handed me what I wanted on a silver platter, so to speak. or put me within easy striking distance of it. The most interesting part of this phenomenon is what came to me rarely, if ever, had anything whatsoever to do with what was on my written plan. Now, I'd love to be able to tell you that after I experienced this a couple of times, I learned from it and changed the way I was doing things. But I didn't. Instead, I went right on doing it the way I thought you had to do it if you wanted to be successful. It wasn't until I began reading and studying the writing of Wallace D. Wattles that I began to understand exactly what I'd been experiencing and why it was happening. Nowadays, when I want something, I form a clear mental experience of myself as already having that which I want, along with all the positive, constructive feelings that go along with having it. And I so saturate my thinking with this imagery experience of already enjoying what I want that it stays in the background of my thoughts all the time. Then I go about my business doing all I can do each and every day, doing each separate thing I do in the most perfect manner possible while I wait signs from the universe. In other words, I don't waste any time whatsoever trying to figure out how to get what I want. I let the hows, if there are any, come to me, and that's exactly what you should do as well. So, you'll know what to be on the lookout for. I'd like to share this with you. Of all that Wallace D. Wattles wrote, there's one passage I refer to more than all the others combined. I've quoted or from it hundreds of times over the years. It forms the very core of my personality. Here it is from The Science of The Science of Being Great by Wallace D. Wattles. Have perfect faith in yourself and in your ability to cope with any combination of circumstances that may arise. Do not be disturbed if you are alone. If you need friends, they will come to you at the right time. Do not be disturbed if you feel that you are ignorant. The information that you need will be furnished you when it is time for you to have it. That which is in you, impelling you forward, is in the things and people you need, impelling them towards you. If there is a particular man you need to know, he will be introduced to you. If there is a particular book you need to read, it will be placed in your hands at the right time. All the knowledge you need will come to you from both external and internal sources. Your information and your talents will always be equal to the requirements of the occasions. Remember that Jesus told his disciples not to worry as to what they would say when brought before the judges. He knew that the power in them would be sufficient for the needs of the hour. That same power is in you. Notice, if you will, when Jesus sent his disciples out to bring his gospel to the world, he didn't provide them with a detailed plan. As a matter of fact, he didn't provide them with a plan at all. What did he do? He simply said, "Go forth." That's it. Go forth. Jesus knew full well that everything his disciples needed to accomplish their mission would come to them as they needed it, and it will for you too. So go forth, or as Mr. Wallace D. Waddle said so well in his book, The Personal Power Course, have faith and move on. And then the next chapter we'll review. Until then, here are your action steps. 1. Reread this passage from The Science of Being Great by Wallace D. Waddles. Have perfect faith in yourself and in your ability to cope with any combination of circumstances that may arise. Do not be disturbed if you are alone. If you need friends, they will come to you at the right time. Do not be disturbed if you feel that you are ignorant. The information that you need will be furnished you when it is time for you to have it. That which is in you impelling you forward is in the things and people you need, impelling them towards you. If there is a particular man you need to know, he will be introduced to you. If there is a particular book you need to read, it will be placed in your hands at the right time. All the knowledge you need will come to you from both external and internal sources. Your information and talents will always be equal to the requirements of the occasion. Remember that Jesus told his disciples not to worry as to what they would say when brought before the judges. He knew that the power in them would be sufficient for the needs of the hour. Then, 2. Write it down in your own words what it means to you in the context of you getting what you want. So, the action steps or homework, if you will, is basically just reading, or in this case where you're watching the video, listening to that passage and then writing down in your own words and then what it means to you. So hopefully you found some value in this chapter from the Quick Start Guide to the Science of Getting Rich. I'm going to be out of state for a week, so I will try to upload a couple of these videos to be released while I'm gone, and maybe I'll do a couple of shorts while I'm gone. But if you haven't seen my channel before, go check out some of my videos. I do a lot of science of getting rich and money related videos. I also do some business and entrepreneurship videos. Thanks and have a good day.